Hey guys, how are you today? I'm just gonna make sure that I'm straight. I hope I'm straight for you guys. Yeah, so I thought I would jump back on today and do another video. It's absolutely gorgeous today. Today has been a beautiful day. We've been outside most of it, soaking up that sun, which has been a nice little treat. Okay, so again, I'm using the Blossom in Blooms bundle. And I'm going to do a card using the stamp set more today. So I've done lots of cards using mainly just the dies. But I want to show you how awesome it looks with using the stamp. And the colours I'm going to be using today are Poppy Parade, the white and the black. And first of all, I'm going to cut my layers to my card. So I'm just going to cut that in half at 10.5. And then I want to use, I'm going to do some layers. So I'm just thinking about my layers. So I want to do this guy will be, yep, that guy will be 10.5, and then this one will be 13.5 by 9.5. And 9.5. And then I'm going to do a layer of the Poppy Parade at 10 by 14. Just make sure that's long enough. Just using up some of my scraps. I don't like to waste anything. And that one at 14. So essentially it's going to be layered on like that, and then that will be, and obviously folded. I'll do that at the end though. Okay, so this is the piece that we're going to be working with at the moment. Oh God, my desk is such a mess. I seriously need to just organize it. Okay, so I'm going to be using the big stamp, and for this stamp I'm going to be using my Stamparatus because I do want to line it up so that it I don't want the whole stamp on it. I just sort of want it coming off the edge. So the Stamparatus is really good for doing that lining up. Got a cat hair on that. It's really good for lining up. So I think that's where I'm going to go. Oh dear, I've got a dog up here joining me. Can you hop down, please? Thank you. All right. Make sure that those magnets are on there. Whatever you do with your Stamparatus, don't put your magnets together because they can snap because the magnets on them are like super strong. All right. So, and because I'm using the photopolymer, I've got my little bit of my foam matting behind it, just so you do get that try not to move that piece of paper, just so that you do get that better stamp on it. All right, so this is my Poppy Parade ink pad, which I'm just going to ink up my flowers. And this is like a distinctive stamp set, so you're not going to get a solid like a solid image. It is going to look like almost like it has been watercolored or painted on, which I think is really nice. And if you can see, you've got some parts of those flowers that are redder than the others, so that takes the ink deeper, and then some parts you want to get a very light covering. Okay, so the idea for this stamp, I'm doing it in the Poppy Parade because I kind of want it to make it look like poppies. So although we do have that beautiful poppy stamp set, I wanted to show you how you can use this one as I feel like I've got something stuck there. I do. I've got a little piece of fluff stuck on that stamp. I'm just going to go over it again because I do really want these flowers to pop. And that's the great thing about the Stamper Artist, is you can keep on adding if you want. You can add as much as you like to your image, because you just keep going over it. So that's giving me a little bit more oomph in the colour, because I've basically just stamped that twice with the same colour. Okay, so that is, now I'm just going to move this away because I do need to clean that stamp, but I'll do that when I finish. I'll just move that out of the way. All right, now we are going to use our dies, but I'm just going to use this one, and I'm going to stamp that in. Perfect. So I will need to stamp some leaves, but I'm thinking I might try and just cut out that flower. We'll see. I'll see how it looks. No promises. So I've just got a scrap piece of black here, and I'm going to use those adhesive sheets. So I've got a couple of pieces like this, so I'm just going to cut them down. So I basically have and then we'll just cut that. Perfect. I don't like to waste anything. All right, now I've got to try and get this bad boy off because I've cut it the wrong way, so that the stickery parts. So that's the sticky stab. And again on this side. These are great. Like, oh, can be a little bit fiddly, these dies, but definitely worth. Maybe if I can use my scissors. I'm hopeless. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Probably can't because I've got it really close to my eyes. Just so I can try and separate. Here we go, here we go. Just so I can try and separate that little bit of adhesive. Okay, so I'll just trim those ends off because they will be sticky. And I don't want it to stick all over my work space. All right, so I'm going to run this little guy through the machine. Rubbish. Oh. Okay, so just going to run this little guy through, make sure, yep. I'm just going to run it through a couple of times just to make sure that we're getting that adhesive sheet as well. Excellent. Okay, let's move this guy out of the way. Oh, sorry, I probably am shaking the camera when I move that around because my My desk isn't the most solid of desks in the world. Right, I'm just going to pick these guys out. I won't go too fussy with that because I'm going to cut that off anyway. Okay, let's get this stuff out of the way. Bring back this. Just trying to work out how I've got that. All right, I'm just trying to work out where I'm going to be cutting. So I'm just going to grab my scissors. I basically want to snip that there, snip that there, snip that there. Snip that in there. All right, so I've removed that little leaf there, but I am going to stamp the leaf back on. So now I just need to snip these little leaves off. And you certainly don't have to. I'm just wanting to do this. Yeah, because I just want to do something a little bit different. Okay. So now I've just got to pop out these little fellas, which I think I might just have to wait until I've got off the adhesive. All right. Which the adhesive took off most of that, so that's cool. All right, move that out of the way because the last thing I want doing is these little black pieces sticking to my card, because yes, that adhesive is quite strong, which is good because it means it sticks down really well. But these little tiny bits, see, now it's stuck to my finger. Okay, so I'm going to start with just adding that part on. Actually, no, I don't. I really want to, actually, I want to stamp those leaves first. So I'm going to do Pepperas, because that's a nice green. It's not quite as bright as the Granny Apple green, but it's definitely got a nice, yeah, a nice colour to it. So I'm going to use those leaves. So I'm going to use this one and this one. First of all, we'll go with this little guy. Okay, ink that little fellow up. And again, like, these are those distinctive inks, stamps, so you quite, I'm trying to work out how I'm going to do that. So you get a different effect throughout that little stamp, which is really cool. And then I'll do one of these guys down the bottom. Yeah, we'll go in like that. I might just add another one of these guys on the side here. Perfect. All right, now I've left half the adhesive on there because most of that I'm going to be trimming off anyway, but I just wanted to get this side lined up first. So hang on, I've still got to pop out my little dudes. Oh no, hang on, he's not. He's part of the next side, isn't he? And hang on, I'll do it. Just trying to make sure I've got him all lined up. Oh dear, you can hear my dog barking. It's not 100%, but I kind of like that it's a little bit off. Okay. So now I'm just going to undo the other side. Oops. Oh no, I just ripped that. That's okay. I'll just trim that off. This stamp set is definitely for, this bundle is definitely more for the avid crafter, the one that has the time and the patience to play with all these fussy little things. Okay. All right, let's try this again. I kind of just got to get that first bit lined up right, and then hopefully, but because it isn't a perfect match to begin with, it is slightly tricky to know whether or not you're doing it right. How does that look? Yeah, I actually quite like that. I've just found one little dude. Hasn't popped out yet. I definitely need to get myself one of those little brushes that basically you just run it over it and the brush pulls it all out. All right, I'm actually going to leave it like that because I think if I keep playing with it, it's going to keep, I'm not going to be 100% happy with it either way, but I do like that. So I'm just going to trim off that little bit of excess. Ooh, I quite like that. I like how that is coming together. So even though that was a little bit fiddly, it's still quite a simple card. It's not, it's definitely not too full on. So as long as you can put up with that fiddly little bit, and hopefully you're a bit better at lining things up than me. Yeah, it's good. Okay, just put that out of the way. Now I really just want to add my sentiment to it and a couple of little gems, and bam, there you go. There is another card made using the Blossoming Blooms. But you know, I'm trying to do it so that every card's a little bit different, because you can get stuck with, you know, making a card and then every card that you make with that set ends up looking the same. Okay. Okay, so now I'm actually going to emboss this. Don't have to. I could just get a piece of Whisper White and stamp with the Poppy Parade on it, but I'm going to actually do white embossing on the red paper. Just grab my embossing paper. Black, white. Perfect. And I'll just grab my embossing buddy. Okay, so I think I'm just I think we'll stick to happy birthday. I like happy birthday. Can never have enough birthday cards, especially so that you've got a nice little supply of happy birthday cards. So just line that up so it's as straight as I can get it. Okay. Now I'm just using my Versamark. This is the embossing ink pad. And we will kind of get it as close to the edges as possible, because I'm just going to snip around it almost straight, not quite straight, but they're kind of. I'll just grab a scrap piece of paper that I've got here to pop underneath that so I can easily get that white back in my little tub. Okay. Just go back over that. Perfect. Alright, so then I'm just going to very gently tap that back in. And I've just got my little heat gun. It's underneath here. There we go. Now just turn this guy on for a couple of seconds. Hopefully you can still hear me, because I know he can be quite noisy. And when I do heat embossing, I always put my gun underneath my paper. And the reason I do that is so that I don't burn the embossing powder, especially with the white, because the white can burn quite quickly. And then you end up with it looks like a dirty brown colour. And I know that from experience, because I used to go like this and then I'll be like, oh, oops. So yeah, so now I go underneath, and then that way I don't have that issue of it burning. It melts, and then you've got time between it melting and getting to the point where it's too hot. Otherwise, I found the other way, it was just going from being finished to being burnt very quickly. All right, so I'm just going to snip this little guy. I'm going to test my cutting skills here. which I am not the straightest of cutters, so I could run this through my trimmer, but I do find that sometimes with the trimmer, when I'm doing really small cuts, it can be a bit fiddly. Okay, and I'm just going to chuck him up on some dimensionals. Found my mini dimensionals that I'd lost the other day. I'm like, I know I've got a whole packet somewhere. Where are they? Where are they? Yep, I found them. So these are awesome because they're super tiny. And I'm just hoping that this is small enough. Yep, perfect. I'll just chuck about 3 on there, I think should be enough. You know what, I'll do 4. So the last thing I want it doing is sort of sagging in the middle. All right, there we go. Oops. Just peel off the little back of that. Back of those little tapey things. Happy birthday. And I'm basically just going to pop him on there. Add some of these, which are, these I think are real red, but they still go nicely with the Poppy Parade. And I have no method in how I place these on. The best I find is I don't think about it, and then I just put them down. If I think about it too much, then I overthink it, and then I'll be sitting here for ages going, where do I put this, where do I put that? And so I just kind of literally randomly do it and not think about what I'm doing. I usually either put 3 or 4 down, depending on how I feel on that day. All right, so I'll just get that backing piece organised. Oops. So I'm going to score this guy at 14.5. Flip him over and then chop him at 14.5 just to take off that little end. Bone folder, please. Just give that a little push down, make sure that's as flat as I can, and then I'm literally just going to glue this little guy on top. And then there we have it. We have another birthday card made using the Blossoming Blooms, but this time I tried to do it a little bit different and only use one of the dies with the stamp set. Hopefully they look like poppies. Okay, wow, that's it. So that was a pretty quick card today. Just that little bit of fussy cutting those leaves off and that sort of thing, but other than that it was pretty simple. So yeah, so that is it. I'll take a photo of this later and I'll pop it up on my page, if not tonight then tomorrow morning. And yeah, well, I hope that everyone has had a lovely day, and if you have been able to spend it with your dad, then that's lovely, but those of us that can't, yeah, thinking of you guys, and I hope it in some way your day has been nice anyway. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again really soon. Okay, thanks. Bye.